I grew up listening to all different genres of music. My mom is Puerto Rican Dominican. My dad is African American. I actually really started songwriting when I was 10, but I did grow up doing theater with my siblings. My brother was looking for auditions for himself. He ended up finding an open call for The Lion King on Broadway and was like, you have to go do this. Music and creativity was just kind of a lane that I figured was gonna be mine.
Like, what are the challenges of turning a hobby into a career?
My journey took a lot of twists and turns and really had a lot of moments of reckoning with, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? The answer to all those questions really did come from my relationship with the Lord. I had put out like one song in the secular space, and I really think God just was like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, so God, I think, really was protecting me from a lot of things to be able to kind of redirect me and not be so attached, I guess, to like that old version of myself.
Right. You said on how you had to have that shift. How was that experience?
Before I started making Christian R&B, I just stopped doing music completely.
How do you come back with a song like My Bad?
My Bad has a special place in my heart. It was the first song I released in over 3 years, but also I feel like God used that song to kind of like birth me again as an artist.
Whether it's being able to finally rest in joy or overcoming hard times, like what is something that you would want to leave the audience with?
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to Growing Painz podcast, where we talk about business and the life of a young adult. I'm Tre'Vion.
I'm Yanni.
Hey, y'all. I'm Jayda.
And I'm Vasi.
Yeah. This is low-key long awaited because I think you DM'd us before trying to like get on the podcast.
Yes. And we're going to be honest. This is our first like interview
For
in
sure.
a long
Long
time.
time.
Last time we did it was last year around this time.
Wow.
So this, we a little rusty. We
So we starting off with a banger. Like we got a great guest.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, so let
I'm
them know what
excited.
you do and, you know, let them
Just
know a little
more
bit about
about you.
yourself. Yeah.
Sure. So I am a Christian R&B artist. I make what I call testimony music. And I'm on all streaming platforms. If you haven't tapped in. Let me know what you think.
For sure.
No, I love that. And your music is so good. Like
thank you.
I am a R&B girly. I'm a singing girly, even though I can't sing for real. I love to sing. And so I really love that you create music that you can truly like vibe to.
For sure.
Like
Thank
for real,
you.
for real.
Right, because we were listening to the song you had dropped in August, the new one.
Okay.
And we were like, no, Teach Me. It was
that's from earlier this
Yeah, it
year.
was
The
a
other
different
song.
It's not Teach Me. It's another
Okay.
one in August. I forgot what it's called.
So I dropped Reset recently and also Never Let Me Go.
It has
It's Never Let Me Go.
Yeah, it has like
We
a
were listening to
2000s
that
vibe.
on
Never Let Me Go.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we love that song.
Thank
No,
you. Thank you.
definitely.
I like Teach Me. I had played that in the car and I was like, oh, that's good.
Thank you
But
so
then
much.
also you're a songwriter too. So it's like you actually are talking, like it's your experience, you know? So like, I think that's good. And then you have like a background history of like Spanglish, like all of that. So how do you curate all that into like your music?
So I actually really started songwriting when I was 10. So I've been songwriting, you know?
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to all different genres of music. My mom is Puerto Rican Dominican. My dad is African American. And so I just always heard, you know, Spanish and English music, and grew up listening to all different genres of those languages. And so I really was inspired to start songwriting when I was literally 10 years old. And as I grew in that gift, I was just like, you know what? I feel like the best way to be authentic to my real lived experience is to, you know, see how I can make this Spanglish. And, you know, some songs are only Spanish, some songs are only English, you know, but just really wanted to be true to my life experience.
That's
I
good.
love
So I
that.
have a quick question. So you say you started making music when you were 10. Is there anybody like in your family that inspired you, or is it just something you picked up?
So, not with music specifically, but I did grow up doing theater with my siblings. Like my brother used to get me ready for auditions, like the whole thing. But we were definitely encouraged in all areas. And I think that music and creativity was just kind of a lane that I figured was going to be mine. So yeah.
I think that's so cool. I feel like it's always dope to hear how people say like they realize what they were supposed to do, or not what you were supposed to do, but your gift, like it showed at an early age. Even I can relate, like I realized I wanted to be a fashion designer at 7, and like that's what I do now as an adult. And so I think it's so cool how I think for most kids, honestly, God starts to show you as a child, like what your gifts are, but it comes down to having like a family or an environment that truly like nurtures those gifts in order for that person to grow into that. Because imagine if you would have had a family who really didn't support what you were trying to do, or who felt like you saying you were interested in theater and you did theater. Like some parents may say, oh, that's not going to make no money, or that's not a stable plan or something. We want you to focus on something else. Like you could have, that could have changed the whole trajectory of your purpose for real.
Sure.
Definitely.
And so what do you feel like it was like growing up with parents who truly did support what you did?
Definitely a blessing. I think at the time, I was just having fun, you know what I'm saying? But in hindsight, I'm like, wow, like my parents, my family, my siblings, like really sacrificed for me to be able to, you know, really, really do the opportunities that the Lord was placing in my life at a very young age. So I'm so grateful. And so like, I love my family so much to this day. We're all still so close and they're still so supportive. So
that's good.
Yeah, I know that I'm very, very blessed with that.
That's beautiful.
And your brother, Zach, he was the one that kind of got you into like the theater, and he like y'all moved to New York and all of that for you to like pursue that dream. And I was at like 7 years old. So it's crazy how like God kind of uses us to be able to like nurture our gifts in the very early stages of our life. So like, how did you go from turning, because it originally started off as like a hobby that you liked in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And so how did you go from turning like that hobby into like an actual career?
Good question. So my brother was looking for auditions for himself. For you know, just
He
open
acts
calls.
or he's into music or
So we did theater together.
okay.
And so he ended up finding an open call for The Lion King on Broadway, and was like, you know, you have to go do this. Like we were begging my mom to take me to do it, and I ended up booking the role. And so and that was, I think I was 9 when I started doing The Lion King, and so it wasn't necessarily something that I like went out to pursue. It's just like, okay, let's see. And it worked, you know? And so then we ended up moving to New York to do The Lion King. And from there, I started, you know, doing different kinds of creative things like modeling and, you know, stuff like that. So it was a pretty just kind of natural, organic process. And again, I was very blessed that my family, you know, was willing to help nourish that.
What are the challenges though? Because in a sense, you said that your sister ended up like moving back before. And so like, what are the challenges of turning like a hobby into a career? Because for me specifically, like I started off like around the same time I was nurturing my gift. And then around like 16, which is also like around the time you started to take music seriously, it's like, you have a shift where it's like, oh, this is a hobby, but wait, also this is how I get paid. This is how I live my life. So like, how does that become like a challenge that you push through, like of turning a hobby into a career?
I think for me, that's kind of a loaded question because my journey took a lot of twists and turns and dips and, you know, and really had a lot of moments of reckoning with like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I doing the right things with my gifts? And I think that more recently, the answer to all those questions really did come from my relationship with the Lord and like asking him questions directly about like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And really just coming from a place of obedience at this point, and not even so much of like a pursuit of, I just like to do this thing, but like God told me to do this, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go hard because it's for God, you know?
Yeah.
Real quick. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Tap in,
twin. Take a 5-second break and go subscribe.
Exactly. We got so much on our channel, y'all. We got vlogs, we got challenges, we got silent library, we got everything. So what are you doing? Like, go subscribe right now.
What are you doing?
Go
subscribe.
Stand on business. Go stand on business.
Stand on business,
Let's get back into the episode.
That's good.
So, question, before you like, you know, I guess started doing Christian music, how much had your, I guess, platform when it comes to music, how much had that taken off like before you switched over to doing like being a Christian artist?
So before I before I just stopped doing music completely, I was actually my hustle was mainly as a songwriter, trying to figure out how I could, get in where I could fit in, and really network that way. And I did some things, like I did shows here and there and was working on music. I had put out like one song in the secular space. And I really think God just was like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like I was getting so close to a lot of things, and then it was just like, no. And, the pandemic happened, different things in my personal life happened that really kind of forced me into a reboot, and just kind of a season of isolation. So God, I think, really was protecting me from a lot of things to be able to kind of redirect me and not be so like attached, I guess, to like that old version of myself.
Right. Okay, I got a question for that, because I feel like I kind of have a story that's similar, because before I started my Christian streetwear brand, I had a lash business, and I was getting real deep into that, and God was like, cut all of that out, start a brand for me. And keep in mind, like I used to always say I will never have a clothing brand. So when the Lord gave me the vision, I'm just like, this is weird, but I'm gonna trust you. You know what I'm saying? So similar to what you said on how you had to have that shift, how was that experience? Like, were you excited, like, okay, like I know this is what the Lord's telling me to do, or was it like kind of like a dang, like I had all of this planned out and now I got to take this turn, or like how was that shift?
So before I started making Christian R&B, I just stopped doing music completely. I had a complete like 2 years of like not even like listening to music. Like I wasn't even
COVID.
So it started in COVID, but it really from like 2021 to like 2023 for real.
Okay.
Where I was just top of 2023, where I was just like not doing music. And so when I had the word from the Lord to do music for him, it completely came out of left field for me, because I had stopped completely. And I was definitely, I was like, I questioned it, because I was like, did I hear you right? But I knew I heard him. But I was like, it can't be, you know, like that don't even, right? Like
it's
that
like,
doesn't
knock
even,
me over the head.
right? Like that at the time didn't make sense. I had no plans around it. And then literally within weeks, like the Lord just started to kind of put things in place in my life that like made it clear, like, okay, I wasn't tripping. That was you. And so he kind of made that all make sense. But
that is so cool. I feel like one of the most beautiful things that I really do feel like that came out of the pandemic was it seems like it was a chance to reboot for a lot of people. I've heard from so many people how God gave them vision, like during the pandemic, like that 2020 to like 2023, you know, like or really like late 2022, all of that. I feel like God was giving so much vision to people, which I feel like is super, super dope. I feel like even we had talked to Child Like Cece recently, and I believe even she said something about during the pandemic as well, that's when she got saved and God gave her vision. And so it's just so cool to see how like God did that for so many people. It's like, it was like, even though that was like a time of like a lot of sickness and like just things going wrong for people, I feel like it was also a time that like God was like, no, I'm about to give my kids the vision, like the plan. Like even I can relate to that for myself. Like I got saved like right before the pandemic started, like a few months before. And like during the pandemic, God gave me vision. And so it's like once that ended, I'm so grateful for that season, because you have that time to relax. You have that time to think. You had time to like were you weren't writing songs or anything during that time. Well, it's like you were with the Lord, like that. So it's like you had that time, and then it was like once it was time to come out of that season, like you were ready. So I think that is just like such a beautiful thing.
That's true. And I feel like that also shows the significance of having distractions removed, because
that's so true.
Prior it's like so much going on, you know what I'm saying? Because I also was one of the ones that's like, where God gave me the vision during the pandemic. So it's like when all of that was removed, that's when it's like, okay, the distractions is away. Your focus is on me. So now I can give you the vision, give you what I'm telling you to do, because you're not distracted by all this other stuff that's going on in the world, you know?
Yeah, for sure. How do you come back with a song like My Bad, where you're talking about repentance and just like God gave you the vision to start making music again. So how do you come back with that song after taking a break of no writing, no nothing?
Yeah. My Bad has a special place in my heart, right? Because it was the first song that I released in over 3 years. But also I feel like it was kind of like God used that song to kind of like birth me again as an artist. And it really was just coming from a place of really talking to God, like, and that's what all the songs on my EP, From Me to God, are from that season of really just like, okay, God, like, you told me to do music. I don't even know if I know how to write songs anymore. You know, I'm just gonna like talk to you, and like whatever you want me to say, like just let it be said in this song. And so My Bad like really was coming from that genuine place of just kind of reflection. And even still like fighting through the enemy attacking me with shame, you know, and trying to make me think that that God couldn't use me yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Why did you feel that? Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
Well, why did you feel that God couldn't use you yet?
Like I said, I think the enemy was just really trying to like throw back memories in there and like things from your old life. And
I can relate to that, yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you like the music that you made before, do you like wipe that out and just rebrand yourself in the new direction that God like, you know, leads you in? Or do you keep that so that way people can see the journey and like how you transitioned and things like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, so like I said, I had only put one song out, and I decided to take it down from platforms because it just wasn't a reflection of who I am. And I really do understand what it means to be a new creation in Christ. And I really feel like that is an old life that like wasn't even me for real. You know what I'm saying? Like after finding my identity in Christ, it's like all of those things like were not even me, you know? And like definitely like my experiences inform like my perspective to this day, but like, you know, like that's not me no more, right? You know? So
I have a, okay, so you were talking about how the enemy was like attacking you, right? How do you overcome that? Because I feel like, especially as a Christian creative, first of all, you already have to deal with attacks from the enemy as a Christian. Now, being a Christian creative, it's like, not only are you getting attacked in your walk, but now you're getting attacked in your gift too. So what are some other maybe attacks the enemy may have tried to throw at you, and how do you combat that? Because I'm pretty sure all of us has dealt with that. The people watching have dealt with that. So yeah, like what are some tools in Christ, of course, that you use to overcome that?
Yeah. Prayer. Number one. Real. I also like at a period last year, I was listening to a lot of prayers from Dr. Cindy Trim on YouTube.
She's so good. I love her stuff.
Clearing out the atmosphere.
I love her stuff.
And really like having to learn what real surrender is and like real submission to the Lord, and like also understanding that like these gifts, my life, are not mine. I had a word from God. I understand that what the enemy is saying to me is not true because all he does is lie. Exactly. And I have to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because like in our surrender, we still have free will. And I love God for that. I think that is so dope. That part. And we have to make choices of whether to be obedient or not. Like it is a choice. And so for me, especially at that time, I just had to make a choice and just trust the Lord to give me the strength, right, in prayer, to give me the words in prayer, you know, really leaning on the Holy Spirit. Like, what do I need to pray against right now? You know, like I know that like there's stuff going on over here that I don't even know. Like I only know the surface of it. So that's what worked for me and really helped me to kind of break through that spirit of fear that was trying to, you know, attach itself to me to stop me from being obedient, really. So
what's up, y'all? Real quick, I know you guys are enjoying this episode, but I just want to speak to all my Christian streetwear brand owners. So as you guys know, and if you don't, I have my own Christian streetwear brand called Wise Label. And in my journey of 3 years of owning this brand, I have experienced a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows. I've experienced one wanted to cry, scream, and throw up. I've experienced it all, but the thing is, I've been able to bounce back off of that. And I know even you watching this video, you may be at a point where you want to start your clothing brand, where you want to grow it, where you feel stuck, where, you know what I'm saying, you feel like you want to 10x in it. And I know exactly how you feel. So I actually launched my first ebook. In this ebook, I put every single lesson, every single hardship, every single tip that I've got in this brain in this book. It's filled with game. And on top of that, I am starting one-on-one mentorship. And this is going to be for my brand owners that feel like they want exclusive help with me. For this, it's only going to be a few people, but for the ebook, it's open for everybody. It's definitely going to be an investment you won't regret. So if you're interested, the link is in the bio. Now let's get back into this episode.
I have a genuine question. So, as you said, Jayda, you love R&B music, and I do too. But now I'm learning to decipher like R&B music that's secular or R&B music that's just simply talking about love or pain or triumphs or things that don't keep you in bondage. Because that's, in a sense, I would think what the secular music is about, or secular music would, in a sense, be just like not talking about God. And so a song like Teach Me and different things like that, how do you decipher it? Or do you even listen to R&B music still?
I listen to Christian R&B.
Okay.
I don't listen to secular music.
Got you. Because I was going to say, like, I'm just learning how to decipher, like, what's what. Like, I would listen to different artists. And not that I don't still. I feel like I'm working through it. And I pray about it. But now, like, with Christian R&B, how do you... Some people may say, like, oh, that's not a thing. Or, you know, different things like that. How do you combat that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's all in the message. Like, God made all music,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And it's all about what we're talking about, you know? And I think that that it really does come down to discernment, though, right? Like whether, and it's also a personal conviction thing, right? Like if like some people don't feel convicted about listening to secular music. For me, I stopped because I just knew that it wasn't conducive to like where I was trying to go in my spiritual journey. Like it was reminding me of old things, you know what I'm saying? And so so I think that it's all just about discernment and knowing, like, is this helping me, you know, grow in my relationship with the Lord, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
So, Trey, you mentioned the song Teach Me. First of all, that song is amazing. Okay.
It is.
But what was going on for, like, what's the backstory behind that? Because I can definitely tell it's some, like, it's not coming out of, you didn't write the story out of just, oh, these are just some good words. Like, I could tell this is something that was something happening behind it, or like you're storytelling something. So like, give us some backstory of what's going on.
Yeah. So like I said, like my music is testimony.
Yeah.
Like I write about what's going on, you know?
Right.
And so with Teach Me, I was having a misunderstanding in my relationship, you know, like we all do because we're human.
Yeah.
And, you know, even in this relationship with this godly man and, you know, the fruit is fruiting, you know what I'm saying? Like we still needed the Lord to intervene because we were just not able to figure out what was going on. And so I remember, and I wrote the song back in August of last year.
Okay.
And I remember like vividly, like I went to prayer and I was praying that like basically God would like change this man, right? I was like, just like make him, you know, do what I want him to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. And literally like I was disciplined by the Holy Spirit in my prayer to redirect my prayer to instead be to ask the Lord to help me understand this man, because he made this man on purpose in the way that he was made, in the same way that I was made on purpose in the way that I was made, to glorify him, right? And our relationship is supposed to glorify him. And then literally like I just wrote Teach Me like right out of that prayer.
Wow.
I love that.
So yeah, and I'm really big on like, God is supposed to be at the center of every part of our, you know, of our lives. And I know I need him at the center of my relationship because I can't, you know, so that's where Teach Me came from.
Okay.
I thought that was so cool though. Like really, because you mixed like Christian R&B with like real life stuff.
Yes.
I feel like that is something like what you just explained, the understanding. That's something that so many people deal with in relationships. It's like y'all are both speaking to each other in English, but y'all don't understand what each other are saying, or just finding that middle ground. And so it's just cool how you were literally able to take this situation that you're going through and make it into like something that so many people like can relate to. And so do you feel like even after you made that song, were you able to like find more understanding like in your relationship, like where the prayer is working? Like
Actually, yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's
And I
good.
think that even more so, I've been so blessed by like people DMing me or like commenting like the way that the song has helped them.
Yeah.
Because I just know that that's from God, right? Because like me in my humanity, I would never like know these things, you know. And so yeah, you know, I. It's funny because when I wrote it, like I didn't think much of it, honestly, you know, because it was just a song I wrote. And so more than anything, just seeing the way that it's helpful to other people. Also helps me, you know, in my journey with the Lord. So.
And I want to say one more thing. It also like, I wish that I had that song when I was in a relationship.
Yo.
He's like, this is a blueprint.
Because I feel like my last relationship, I focused so much on what he was doing wrong, or like even just, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like that you're doing this, or I don't like that you're doing that. But I also feel like in relationship, you really should focus more on yourself. And so that's why I also feel like it's important to pray for understanding, because I had to realize, just like we're all like on this sanctification process, like journey with God. And so God is removing things from me just as he's removing things from this person. And so you really have to have patience to be able to be in a relationship with someone who's just as flawed as you are, and allow them to like go through this process on their own. But I think sometimes it's just really easy to be like, no, you need to be this way like now. Or I think my issue would be, I feel like I was more spiritually mature. So my issue was, well, I'm going to God and he removing things like this. Like, you need to hop on it. But it's like still like allowing people to like go through their own process with God, because God is going to work on this person on his time, and same for you. And so I feel like that's when you really find out if you really love a person or not, is am I willing to be patient and give grace, just like how God gives me grace? Like, am I willing to be patient and allow this person to go through that journey, and like you said, like work on understanding, you know, understanding each other? Or do I not have the patience and I feel like I just need to leave? And that's something I really had to sit with myself and figure out.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It sounds like these moments like My Bad and Teach Me, these songs came out of a place of like releasing like triumph or trials and errors that you went through. But now, like, as we briefly spoke about, like you're at a place where it's joy now. And it's almost surreal when you get to that moment. Cause like for me, for example, as you were going through stuff, I was also going through stuff. But in 2020, I had like started my creative agency. I'm doing like graphics and stuff, but this whole time I'm depressed. Like it lasted from it started at 2019 and it lasted until like the very beginning of 2023. And I'm like literally pushing through all these years, and I'm like praying because it felt like a dark cloud and all of that stuff. But now, like where I'm at in this very moment, I'm like very joyous in life. And like, it almost feels like, hold on, like it's getting a little too, it felt a little too great. A little too calm. Like something gotta be coming. So like, how do you deal with that? Like how is it to be in a place of like a state of mind of joy and peace and all of those things that God provides you with?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to just say that's amazing that you came out of that season.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely relate to that. I was like really struggling with my mental health for years. It got bad, you know, and just very, very, very lost. And so when I reconnected with my relationship with the Lord and like really actually started to seek him in a real way, my prayer time with him was really, a lot of it was focused on like asking him to help me get out of this space, right? And praise God, I have been delivered from like all of it.
Nah, for real.
You know, like all of it. And, you know, I'm like, okay, thank you, God. What do we talk about now?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, like what do we talk about these days? Like, and
That's
literally
good.
like having to ask the Holy Spirit, like guide me in prayer. Cause I joy is new. Right. And like I had experienced happiness at different times, but like real joy is new, and I've never navigated it before, and it's great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's new, so I'm learning myself again in this body, in this state of mind, in this place of peace in my spirit, and so it's great. It's just, it's new,
No, I feel it. Sometimes I'll be asking God, like, all right, like what else should I be praying about? I recently asked for new prayers because it's just like, I don't want to keep. Well, I know you have to set the foundation. Like your foundation has to be like firm on like rock and not sand. And so for me, I'm like, okay, like I got through the depression. I'm like at peace now. I'm happy. How do I continue to keep this moving forward in life? No matter like what else comes to play, because I feel like during that time, like those years that I was depressed, it was like I was praying for what I wanted, and then when I got it, then I kind of just like stopped. And I feel like that's where everything kind of went wrong. And so now I'm just like, okay, now everything is going good, and I know that there's more to come, but like how do I maintain it? Like basically working on my characters.
That's actually crazy we're having this conversation, because this has actually been one of my prayers. Like, Lord, I don't want to always have the mindset of like, as soon as things are going good, I'm expecting something else to happen, like another, like, it's like, and I don't want to speak this over myself, but I genuinely feel like sometimes I don't sit in the joy because I'm expecting, okay, I got to prepare myself because something else, I'm always feeling like it's always, because they're saying it's always something, which sometimes it does feel like it's always something, but I feel like those always somethings isn't forever. Like, it's always going to be something in a season, but then you do experience that pure joy where it's like, yo, everything's good. Like, hold on, this not right. So that's actually been my thing recently too. So,
but I think that, and you could touch on this too, I think that yes, things are going to happen, but I feel like joy is when you get to the point to where regardless of what is happening, you're still good. Like, you're like, because regardless, struggle is going to happen, regardless of bad things, like if we look at it as bad, like it's going to happen. But I feel like when God gets you to that place of joy, it's like, well, God, regardless of how low it gets and regardless of how great things get, I still find joy in this moment. So do you feel like, is that where you're at? Like, or do you feel like your joy is there because so much stuff is good? Or do you feel like regardless of if things go up or down right now, you'll still have that same joy?
I think that I'll still have that same joy because of the way that the Lord has revealed himself to me. And I just think that that's so cool. You know what I'm saying? That like I have gotten to experience the Lord like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like not what people have told me about him, but like we locked in, you know what I'm saying? And I think that actually it's what's coming to me right now is kind of like we're supposed to like steward joy too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said like kind of you're trying to fight anticipating like something like kind of something bad to happen, right? And I feel like part of what we're supposed to do too is like when God like delivers us like from a season and like gets us into a new season is like, and he's trusting us with new things, is like we have to steward them. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and like still be in that same place of dependency on the Lord, like with those new responsibilities and the new life that we have with him, you know?
That's
so
good.
I think one thing that I recently learned is learning to find contentment in like the waiting season and whatever that looks like whatever the waiting season is. You may be waiting on a kid and a family, a wife and a husband and different things like that. And so like I'm learning, okay, learn to find like contentment, because I'm like a very ambitious person. So I want to be able to strive for my goals and get these things and do these things. But then it's like, okay, with that, what you learned last time in the previous season is that once you got what you wanted, you didn't steward it. You didn't steward the joy. You didn't steward the relationship with God. You didn't steward the connection with him. So it's like now I'm like, okay, let me read my Bible. Let me do this. Let me surround myself around other Christians who like are doing the same thing and are keeping me on track when I backslide and different things like that. So do you have like friends and stuff that you're like connected to that helps you stay on track?
Yes. And I'm so grateful that the Lord has been bringing new people into my life, right?
Yeah.
Because as my old self died, right? So did a lot of relationships and friendships.
Sure.
And, you know, in that season of isolation, like I was isolated, like for real. Like I didn't have no friends. I was, it was me and God and like my parents, you know what I'm saying? And so like in the last couple of months, the Lord really has started to like show me like this person can be your friend, like like y'all both honor me with your lives, with your day to day, like you can grow together. And so I'm really blessed to be growing with some people right now, and getting to know myself and what kind of friends the Lord has for me, you know what I'm saying, like with the real me, with him, So
that is so good. I feel like that's honestly what we have experienced in our friendship. We all didn't have no friends.
I was like, God, it's getting lonely over here.
Right.
Look, the pandemic. It was
no friends.
It was me and my boyfriend.
I had no man, so
it was just me and the laptop.
And so it's just like, I feel like we can relate to that. Like God put us in each other's lives. Oh, excuse me. God put us in each other's lives. I feel like to experience like what you just said, like true friendship, like being around people who honor God, who are trying to actually live their lives for God, like even just being able to grow together. So that's beautiful, like that God is putting that in your life. And I feel like, I don't know, I see that as a pattern too for a lot of other, I just feel like Christians that I know as well, is that when you do give your life to God, that typically you are removed, from your hometown, removed from your surroundings, your environment, and God has to do a work on you, and then he's going to take you into like this new community of people. And I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. So, like spending so much time by yourself, especially like for me, I consider myself like more extroverted. So I love being around people. So going through time where it's like, dang, I don't got friends I could just hang out with or people I could just hit up. It's just like, it's not fun, But it's worth it once you start to have that community, like, and you feel like, oh, now I have friends that I can really like do life with, that I can be myself with,
That reminds me of the story of Abraham. Like God moved Abram before he became Abraham, out of where he lived, away from his family, away from everybody, so that he could birth something new. And that's how it is with us. Like he removes us so that he could birth something new. Like literally think about skin. Like dead skin has to get shed before the new skin comes up. Like it's just a system God created for us. So I think that's cool.
Sure. And I think that that's good to have people in your life, because something that the artist D1. So he was talking on an episode with 19 Keys, and he was saying like how there's a difference between like transformational love and affirmational love. And I feel like that's what we do amongst each other. Transformational love is something that's going to help you to grow. Affirmational love is something to encourage you, uplift you in the moments where you need it most. And so like now I'm learning how to be a better friend, because before I feel like those old friendships, like it was a lot of jealousy or envy or lack of communication. And so now I'm like, okay, how do I be a better friend to this person? Or like, how do I show up for this person in the way that they need me to show up, and not how I show up for them, like how I want to show up and operate for them. So like for you, do you feel like there's some things about like character that like God is working on and like showing you like, okay, you need to work on this area?
Yes. Every day, right? And that's why I'm always like, God, just purify my heart, please. Like I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know all the areas that need to get worked on, but you do, so please,
No, for real.
But I think that a large part too of like why he allows us to be kind of isolated with him first before allowing us to go have fellowship is because he kind of wants to change what we value. And I think, my grandma always said that like show me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. right? And so it's like the people that are around you, what they value, like you start to value that, even if like you didn't start valuing that before you knew them. Like if that's what you're around, that's what you do now, you know? And so I think in my experience, like the Lord really had to renew my mind and the things that I found fun, the things that I found entertaining, before he would show me people that he had also, you know, renewed their minds too. And now we can have fun together and, you know, and glorify him with our friendships. So
that's good.
I love that. I guess we could go move towards like what are some things like you have coming out, or like what's next for you in your music, and what are some things that you have planned?
So
we dropping some, we announcing some.
I just
He like this show and
I'm sorry, you have to cut that out. But I have a lot of things planned. I have a lot of really, really exciting things coming up.
Okay.
That
Sneak peek?
I don't know if I'm able to talk about yet.
Okay.
But the Lord is working overtime.
Yes.
And I'm excited. So
that is cool.
I'm sorry, I told y'all nothing.
she said just basically wait for the music.
Good thing.
Great thing. Yeah.
Well, you did just recently do a feature with Anike, so that's something that people can look forward to and go listen to.
Yes, go stream Anike's album. I did called Show Me Love, a song called Show Me Love on there with her. I also did a feature on Mike Teasy's album, New Leaf. So yeah, some performances also if you're in the Atlanta area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Anike show and again Mike Teasy's show this fall. So I'll be
I'm going to that show.
So pop out. Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm excited.
No, I love that. Well, I would say I guess a good way we could end it off is like just leave the people who are watching like a piece of advice, whether it's about how we talked about being able to finally rest in joy, or maybe overcoming hard times. Like what is something that you would want to leave the audience with? She about to say something good.
Right, she about to say
For sure. That sounds like just let
it cook.
I think I would just want to really highlight the fact that like God really does want what's best for you. And I actually went through some old notes from a sermon that I watched in 2020. And one of the notes said that God will reveal the vision to you, but he's not going to show you all the pain you're going to have to go through to get to the vision, because he knows that we fear pain, right? And I've been reflecting on that this past couple of days, and the fact that the vision never changed, right? Like the visions that God gave me, they never changed. He never changed. Yeah. Right? I changed. I had to change. And the pain was necessary for the change to get to really fulfilling the vision that God had shown me about my life and about myself and him. So I think I would just encourage everybody to just like, don't fear the pain, fear God.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, and trust him through your process.
That's
good.
No, for sure. I can relate to that 100%. Like that is super, super good.
Okay. Let them know where they could find you. One more, because I think you did in the beginning of the episode, but a little reminder.
Yes. So I am excuse me.
You good?
Yes, so I'm on all social media at Lily Vasi, LeeLeeVasi, and I'm also on all streaming platforms, Lee Vasi, and YouTube, all of the things. Yes. So tap in. I hope y'all love the music. I hope that it speaks to you and your relationship with the Lord. And thank y'all for having me.
For sure. Go stream that music.
Yeah, right now.
Let them know where they can find Growing Painz.
Y'all can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Growing Painz Pod. Make sure you guys are streaming on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. I'm your girl, Yanni.
I'm Tre'Vion, and
hey, y'all. I'm Jayda.
It's like they didn't tell.
Oh, wait. Did you say your Instagram?
I didn't either.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it.
Never mind.
I mean, they can put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Royal Tre'Vion, let's get it.
Definitely. But thanks y'all for watching.
So your Instagram, twin.
Oh yeah, I am Jayda Ellis, and then follow my fashion brand at Jaell Official.
Follow my creative agency at RoyalTMadeIt.
Follow my clothing brand at Wise Label.
Y'all look funny.
No, for real. But bye y'all, and we will see y'all next time.
Let's
Bye,
get it.
y'all.